I'm Jerome Weeks. Contemporary art has broken past all kinds of barriers, but can the museums and art fairs that show it do the same? Peter Doroshenko has directed art centers in Houston, England, and Ukraine. He now runs Dallas Contemporary in its new home in the Design District. This week, he opens 3 new shows in connection with the Dallas Art Fair. Peter, welcome to Think.
Thank you.
Now, the Contemporary is already something of an anti-museum in that it doesn't collect and preserve artworks. It only shows new ones. But you've said you wanted to create a new model for the 21st century. What would that entail exactly?
I think it's very much about connecting with people, and the Contemporary offers two products, so to speak. One is the exhibitions, and one is the learning. Learning is no more about building blocks and being told what you should be thinking about, or what, it's not about interpreting what the artist made or has created. It's very much about creating options for visitors, so that way they can make the decision. They can take a personal route into learning more and exploring the artwork, and that's what's going to make the Contemporary very, very different from other institutions.
You've said that the Contemporary won't have curators on staff. Why?
Basically because both myself and people who are involved in the exhibition program are out. We're visiting artists, we're going to galleries, we're seeing other exhibitions, and I think it's quite refreshing to engage a series of adjunct curators, 1 or 2 or possibly even 3 further down the line, where they're coming from places like Paris or Mexico City or Sao Paulo, and they're coming and seeing what work is being made here with fresh eyes.
Why is it important for the Contemporary to have international connections and aspirations?
Well, I personally feel that a lot of artists just don't want to be known as a Texas artist or a Houston artist or San Antonio artist or a Dallas artist. I think they just want to be known as artists. And so with the invention 20-odd years ago of the fax machine, then right after that the internet, the world has become, the art world at least, has become extremely global. And so a lot of artists are traveling within the country or abroad to engage and set up work, to do installations, or to just be present at one of their exhibits. So it's really we're just reflecting what artists are doing right now in the real world.
The Contemporary has 3 shows opening soon. Jürgen Teller and Ezra Petronio are European photographers who mix art and fashion. But the 3rd show is by a French collective. I wonder if you could explain who they are and what they're up to.
This is a postgraduate program called the Le Pavillon at the Palais de Tokyo, which is also an art center, much like the Contemporary in Paris. And they engage 8 to 12 young artists every year. These artists come, they live in Paris for 8 months. They're part of a kind of a program where there's reading, there's thought, there's discussions, along with art making. What we've done is I've invited them to come to Dallas and to Texas to spend some time here in Dallas. They plan on going to South Texas and creating work in our space in relationship and a reaction to all the 2.5 weeks that they're here.
So you don't know quite what they're going to be producing. You just put them in this environment and see what happens?
Well, they have, each one of them has a lineage of the kind of work that interests them. So obviously the filmmaker will make a film, the sculptor will create something out of found objects, the person who works with photography will probably work with photography, but there is a level of experimentation that can exist, and it's also reacting to the space that's quite large.
Next week is going to be huge for contemporary art in North Texas. Your 3 shows are opening. The National Sculpture Center has a show, the Goss Michael Foundation, and they're all linked to the Dallas Art Fair. You must have decided to join forces with the Art Fair fairly soon after you arrived. Why?
I think it's strategic because here there's basically 2 opportunities a year that Dallas has where people from all over the country and even abroad come in for a specific, very focused event. And when they're finished with that event, they're interested in seeing what institutions are doing, what exhibitions they have, et cetera, et cetera. So here's a great opportunity to do something unusual, such as work together, and to create something even stronger and more interesting for those that come to visit Dallas.
You said they have two opportunities. What's the other one?
I think the other opportunity exists with the great event that Howard Wachowski does in the fall, the 2x2, where it benefits both AIDS and the Dallas Art Museum.
So you're looking for sort of a critical mass of interactions?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's also, I think it's good that all the institutions and all the arts leaders talk amongst themselves, and it's much more of a casual atmosphere where new ideas for the future can come up, and they can't be implemented immediately, but there are opportunities in the future to even create more interesting, more theatrical, and more create more of an impact in the community.
At the art fair, you're going to be moderating a panel with a number of leading Dallas art collectors. Art fairs have proliferated around the world. What is their role in with collecting these days? I mean, is it simply a matter of getting buyers together with dealers? Is that what an art fair does at heart? And
I think that formula won't change. I think you're correct. That won't change. But it's also, I think, for a lot of young artists, a way to go and see a lot of information, visual information. I think for those people who are interested or have been interested in starting to collect, or even just getting one or two things for their home or office, that's a good way to start. Along with those that are kind of, professionals or seasoned art world heat seekers, to go and experience a panel, a walkthrough, a tour. There's more options available that didn't exist a few years ago.
So you're saying, in addition to the kind of basic trade show aspect, there is this educational kind of outreach that goes on.
Yes, absolutely, and I think that's happening more and more, where it's also, it makes sense for a lot of young collectors or even seasoned collectors, because the more information they have, the better choice you make.
Well, thank you very much. It's going to look like an exciting week coming up for you.
Thank you.
Read more about Dallas Contemporary and the Dallas Art Fair at artandseek.org. Chris.
Thanks, Jerome. To access our free podcast, you can go to the Think page of KERA's website, kera.org/think. And we'd like to know your thoughts on the show as well. You can email us at think@kera.org. My name is Chris Boyd. Thanks for being with us, and have a great week.
To learn more, go to kera.org/think. Think is made possible in part by Dell Services. Dell Services develops and delivers a comprehensive suite of IT and application services, business process solutions, and consulting services designed to help customers succeed. For more information, you can visit dell.com/services. By Southwest Securities, a nationally recognized regional brokerage firm that's been meeting the needs of Southwest investors for more than 30 years. Southwest Securities is a member of the New York Stock Exchange and SIPC. By the Executive Education Center at the University of Texas at Dallas, providing degree and non-degree programs to help corporate professionals and executives stay ahead. On the web at som.utdallas.edu/executive. And by the valued support of KERA members. Thank you. Support for Art and Seek comes from Donna Wilhelm, the Margaret A. Cargill Foundation, the Robert Ted Enlow Family Advised Fund, and KERA members. Visit artandseek.org.